I want to show you an exercise for parasympathetic modulation. You're like, what? What the heck is that? Just know that it's going to help slow you down, calm you down. Okay, let me just give it to you that way. And I want to show it to you by alternate nostril breathing. It's a big piece. You guys know I study human behavior, but I also do a lot of alternative practices, right? I teach breathing, meditation, manifestation, mindfulness. You guys know that. And I want to give you some things. Now listen, this is not to replace medication. This is just another tool along your way. But I'm going to talk to you about the alternate nostril breathing and why that's really important, and then how to do it. I mean, it's kind of basic, like alternate nostril breathing, right? But so the whole idea, and it's what I talk to you guys all the time, the brain is very smart, but it's also very programmable, right? So it's that's how we live, right? Like, well, that in our heart, but like, that's how we exist as a human. So it's smart, but it also doesn't differentiate between real and false, meaning, is this a real threat? Is this a false threat based on anxiety, right? So I need you to get clear in that, because so much of, and I always use the example of, let's say you're a child and maybe you have a shelf in your bedroom and it's got games on it. And you know it's there. It's been there ever since you were a child, like ever since you were a baby. You know it's there. But if you're sleeping or you're laying down in just the right moonlight, you can't really see it. And you're like, oh my God, there's somebody in the bedroom. Now, you know there isn't anybody in the bedroom there because it's been there. So you turn on the light, you're like, oh, okay. But your brain in that moment doesn't even go, hey, psst, psst, hey, by the way, you know that's the game holder thing, right? Like, no, it's not going to do that. So your body often responds in such, right? So that's why you need parasympathetic modulation, and parasympathetic modulation is great. So it's your parasympathetic nerve. We know that that's amazing. So alternate nostril breathing just really helps with that. So as with any tool you ever have, meditation, breathing, staying present, all of those things have to also, that you don't just pull those out when you're feeling stressed. This is where people fall short every single time. These types of things need to be a part of your daily life. Now, I don't always use alternate nostril breathing, though I do some form of breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, which is the belly breath. It'll be some type of breath work every single day. So this is just one that you can throw into rotation, but this does really, really help kind of calm you down, and it gives you your body time to sort of, hey, let's align. So a lot of times I'll have you do like this, like, hey, like hang tight, like hang loose, like this. If you want to do this way and this way, you're welcome to. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Like, just, you do want to alternate. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to do everything in rhythms of 4. However, with this, I'm going to do a rhythm of 8. Okay. So what you'll do, right? A lot of times I like to do it just this way, because then I can alternate easy, but I'm just going to show you this way so you can like kind of do it with me. So as part of your practice, maybe it's winding down, maybe it's in the morning, whatever, you're going to close one full nostril. Okay. It's okay if you're stuffed up. Okay. But you're going to breathe all the way in and all the way out. It's not in through the nose, out through the mouth. It's in through the nose, out through the nose. And it's not going to be fast, but I do want you to go all the way in at the height of your breath and then go all the way out until you deplenish your lungs. So it's not just like typical breathing. So I'll show you. So you're going to hold it in. You're going to breathe all the way in. And you're going to exhale. All the way out. Okay. So that's where you start doing that alternate breathing, right? So when you're breathing in, you're going to breathe in through that nose, and then you're going to exhale through that nose, and you're going to do that 8 times on each side. And you can do it more than once. It's not like you're just, one side in each time. I usually like to do them in systems of 3 or 5. So you would do that, right? So, but you don't go 3 on, you don't do that 3 times on this side. This was the first one. Now you switch. Now you're going to go in, exhale, all the way out. right? And you don't rush the breath. It isn't like, no, that's not what you're doing. You're going to go slow and methodical. So this not only helps that parasympathetic modulation, but it also is so beneficial to helping you stay present because you're kind of focused on it. And it's the same sort of concept, different, by the way, but it's not the same concept, but it's a different concept. Like if you're a right-handed toothbrusher and you change your toothbrush to the left hand, it's really good because it just kind of helps your brain kind of go, hey, let's stay in the present space. So this is so imperatively important. So as you're doing that alternate nostril breathing, and so give yourself a good 15, 20 minutes. You can go longer too, by the way. It's not like some rule that says you're too little, too late, but I want you to be able to practice it. And again, you don't wait until the 11th hour of stress. And then you're like, this isn't working, because that's a big problem that people have with any type of thing, any type of breathing, any type of journaling, any type of whatever, is you wait until you get into some weird sense of peril, like some weird peril state. And then you start to spiral out of control. And we can't have that happen. So it's just not good for you. Right. So I just want you to be aware of that, because, what you're doing to yourself is you're creating a lot of, anger and frustration, because you're like, well, this tool's supposed to help me. No tool that anybody gives you, medicine a little bit, but no tool, a natural tool, is going to help right away. Like in the heart of the moment. It's not going to happen, and it's going to be consistency. So we're going to do different breathing exercises for these 3 videos this week. So this is the first one. And then the next one, I'll show you an exercise. And then the next one, I'll show you an exercise. And I will explain to you, and they're all going to be based on parasympathetic modulation and how that really helps you, and how carrying that breath is very beneficial. And then in the next video, I'm going to show you, well, in the last video, I'm going to show you kind of like, we're going to use colors and we're going to use different things. But breathing is the gift of life. That's how we exist, right? But it controls so much of your body. And what it does is it also brings you back to base. So it's giving you this time and this space to be able to come back to your base, get into your feels. Like, don't worry. Don't start thinking, well, am I breathing enough? Am I not breathing enough? Because your brain will start to spiral. You got to stay balanced, right? So that's this one, then this one, this one, then this one. And like I said, sometimes I'll do this and then I'll alternate. Then I'll do this. You can do it any way you want, but I want you to start. And this doesn't just help with the regulation. This also helps with bringing you present. So we're doing kind of a double duty here. We're triggering the parasympathetic, and we are also bringing you back to base, because now you're kind of concentrating and you're counting, which is why I like to do, 5, 7, 9, do your odd numbers, but you want to, and don't rush the process. So don't do this if you're going to be distracted. Though I will say the beautiful thing about breath work is you can do that anywhere. You could do that if you're stressed with the coworker next door of you, like anything that you can just, and then you can exhale. Like it's great. Like nobody is really going to even know like kind of what's happening and what you're doing. So I think that that's a very beneficial thing for you. And the more that you start understanding kind of how your body works, what your vagus nerve does, what your parasympathetic nerve does, once you start realizing all of those things and how they benefit you and how they can help you in your life, you start realizing just how much control you have over your body. So that's why you take your visual cues. Visualization is so big in Buddhism, and I practice a Buddhist practice, but it's in meditation and manifestation. And it is such an amazing thing that you don't realize how much power you actually have. And so that kind of is like where we go. So, I just kind of want you to start doing these things, but it's got to be a part of your practice. So make it part of your daily practice. If it's in the morning, if it's in the evening, at least where you're doing it consistently. You can add it 67,000 times a day. Like it's not too much. Okay. So I need you to kind of understand that, but you have so much power, and I always want to give you the tools and explain to you why you're using them. I don't want to just be like, do this breathing exercise, you'll feel better. Like, well, how and why? Wait, what am I doing? So I just kind of want you to be very attuned into your body and what it does and why it helps and all of those things, and how it also, the next one we're going to do is going to show you how you like push past your limits just a smidge too in your breathing. So yeah, but start that. Let me know how it works for you in the comments.